Good morning. We are the shift team. This is Genchi and Akashio and Cheryl, and I'm Chris. And our Capstone project was about mitigating texting while driving. So to get things started, I'd just like to see a show of hands. How many of you have actually texted while driving before? Well, that's quite a few hands. It turns out that texting while driving, as you all know, is very dangerous. And the reason that it can be dangerous is that it takes your hands off the wheel, your eyes off the road, and your mind off the task of driving. And even though we know about these dangers, and even though we know that in 39 states it's actually illegal to do, including Washington, over a quarter of us still admit nationwide to sending texts, and a third of us admit to receiving text, and that's only the people who admit it. So there's a mountain of statistics out there that I could spout for you, but perhaps the easiest to understand and the saddest is that every day we lose one teen to the specific action of using cell phones while driving, and 100 more are injured. So our team set out to do the first stage of the user-centered design process, which is investigation. We wanted to find out what do experts say about this? Can it even be fixed or helped? What products exist and are they any good? We found Dr. Linda Boyle, who's right here on the UW campus, who's a nationally recognized expert on distracted driving. And she runs the Human Factors and Statistical Modeling Lab here, which also happens to have a very nice car simulator in it, which she allowed us to use for our testing, which was wonderful. And she taught us many things. She has lots of research that we read. We spoke with her. But one of the things that stood out for us was that status indicators and feedback are key for better situational awareness for people. We'll come back to that. The other thing we wanted to do is look at existing products that are out there. But we wanted to do this in the context of the anatomy of a text message. So we said, well, what are the components of a text message? There's the two people. There's the phones, there's the carriers, and in the case of texting while driving, there's the car. So within this context, we put our competitive products that we found. The big three carriers all have apps that are supposed to mitigate texting while driving by detecting speed of the car. There's many applications out there for phones that you can download that try and do the same thing. The car manufacturers themselves this fall are coming out, many of them with built-in versions of Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. There are 7 other different systems that are coming out this fall. And there are aftermarket systems like Drive Idea and NavD. And then there are programs that are built to educate the driver, to raise awareness, to change their behavior. But we looked at this and we thought, look where all these are in our context. They're all on the right. They're all targeted at the driver. And we thought, could we shift our thinking about this? Could we make our focus be the sender? What if we took what we learned from Dr. Boyle about indicators and status and used that to let the sender know before they send their text that the driver is driving? Would that change anything? We wanted to find out. And that led us to our design question, which was, can we reduce driver distraction by shifting some of the responsibility of safe texting away from the driver? Now, we needed a starting point. We needed to be able to define how we were going to go about this. So we decided that we would make it a phone OS level solution so that it would be ubiquitous enough to work, that we would stay within the Apple ecosystem and use iOS and iMessage and Siri and count on a Bluetooth connection with the car, which is the wireless connection between the phone and the car. And we came up with something we're calling drive mode. Now, drive mode is kind of like airplane mode, which you're all familiar with, except you don't need a flight attendant to tell you to turn it on because it happens automatically. So the main 3 things that drive mode does is that it tells senders that you are driving, and it defers notification of any text that they send to you as the driver until you're done driving. But if it's a message that's very important and the sender deems that you need to know it now, like you're driving someplace and you're going the wrong place and they need to tell you that, they can choose a Notify Now option, which pushes the message through right now, but it's delivered via Siri. So they don't have to take their hands off the road or their hands off the wheel or their eyes off the road.
So to test our idea and our solution, we did 2 rounds of testing, one with just regular texters and another with current drivers. So to test with sender side, we found 20 users and had them use a paper prototype of a phone that had a recipient on it that had drive mode on. We had them then text that recipient so we could see what the reaction was to seeing that the recipient was driving, and we wanted to see how they felt about having their messages deferred. To see how drive mode worked with drivers, we found 5 current drivers between the ages of 20 and 24. We had them get into a car simulator. We had them run through a series of scenarios and recorded the reactions with a 3-camera setup. We had them first receive a text message on their phone to show us how they currently react to getting a phone message when they're driving. Next, we gave them a phone that had an interactive prototype of drive mode and simulated a Bluetooth audio system for the car. We wanted to see how they responded to receiving only important messages in the car and having all the rest of their messages deferred until after they got out of the car. From that, we finalized our UI screens, and we'll have us walk through those screens now.
So the beauty of drive mode is that it is completely automatic. There is just a one-time setup where the user pairs the phone with the car using the Bluetooth connection. After that, once you turn on the ignition and a Bluetooth connection is made, drive mode turns on. It's very simple, it's very easy. Now, the only way the user can get around this would be, and for added flexibility, we added the button to turn it on and off in the control center, much like airplane mode, like Chris said. Now, from the sender side, what the sender would see is this status. Now, from our testing, pretty much, or exactly, everyone saw this and pretty much understood it. They read it, it was very clear to them. Now, when prompted with the idea that their message would be deferred, their reaction was 17 out of 20 was very positive, actually. Most of them were totally okay with the defer option, and some even chose to not send it at all because it wasn't important enough. They just choose to wait. Now, from here, if the sender chooses to send the message and that'll be deferred, they'll get this small icon, much like we told them that it would get deferred. Now, if the message is important enough, like, for example, a venue change when they're going to meet somewhere, the sender can tap the car icon. They'll be prompted with more options, for example, the Notify Now. And if they choose Notify Now, the message will be delivered and it'll be read out through Siri. No distraction at all, hands-free, just talking to Siri in the car. Now, here's where the magic happens. On the driver's side, nothing shows up. There's no notification, there's no sound, there's nothing. It is the least distracting possible on the screen. So as soon as the driver turns off the ignition, the Bluetooth connection is cut, then they'll be getting all the text message that they had deferred while they were driving.
So here's a video that shows a scenario where various features of drive mode are used.
Big day with Jane?
Oh, yeah.
Where are you taking her?
I got us tickets to this sold-out show. Oh, I'm totally gonna miss it if I don't leave right now.
Have fun.
It's just beginning, life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah. And it's a good, I won't even worry anymore. Took all my cares, still can kick them all out the door. Go on and try, come and tell me what you're waiting for. Move and keep them going till your life is overflowing, yeah. I do a dance of victory. Cause now I'm living good, no I'm not living like I used to be. Now talk about things, talk about my mind. Now I'm free from the words that I left behind. I gotta jump for joy and shout aloud and make a sound. Oh, the world can stop me now, no. And on the music I will ride on the beat. Play my guitar, I won't stop my beat.
Steve has sent a message. Would you like to hear it now?
Yes.
Dude, you forgot the ticket. Would you like to reply?
Yes.
What would you like me to say to Steven?
Meet me up front. I'm on my way back.
Ready to send it?
Yes.
Message sent.
Standing up on top of the world tonight, and everything's working out just right. And while the world is spinning, it's a brand new begin, and I'm finally winning. Hey, so take it up, take it over, take it out of control. Today I'm freeing my soul, and now you got me singing.
So the main question we were trying to answer during our research was, if you were aware of your recipient was driving, would that change your texting behavior as a sender? We've got really promising result from our evaluation research that 19 out of the 20 participants said, yes, it will change their texting behavior, and we're very happy about it. Last but not least, I would like to, on behalf of my team, to show our special thanks to our expert, Dr. Linda Boyle, and our design mentor, Harsha, Tim, David from us2 in London, and our part-time teammate, Rohan. And of course, our MACI Plus D faculty, Linda, Mary, Jared, and Justin. Thank you for believing. Thank you. Now we are very happy to take your questions.